Hello, I'm Tony King. I'm a photographer and welcome back to my channel. Today we're doing the very first month in review for the year of 2026, and that is of course of the month of January. If you've been following the series and remember last year's January, I only took 4 photo albums, which is the minimum amount of photo albums that I wanted. I was pretty disappointed with that. How did I start this year? Well, I tripled that. I took 12 different photo albums in the month of January, and I'm very pleased with that. So today I want to talk about, as I do in the month of review series, about a few images that I enjoyed from the month of January, reflect on those, and see what I can bring into February and the rest of 2026. This first image is from Arabia Mountain. Obviously, January is a cold month. You can tell here that it is a foggy, cold day. I was actually filming a video on this day. It should be out on my channel about changing how you envision your images based on lenses. And this is an image that I took on a different lens than I normally use. This was on a 23mm lens, and I usually shoot on a 50 on a micro four thirds system. This was like the only other person out on the mountain that day, and he was walking ahead of me, so I took this shot, and I really like all the empty space of the foggy sky, all the white there, and this bumpy, rocky horizon line, very true to what the location is like. And you can see some of the elevation, but it's not even that pronounced here. Great position for like his walking. Sometimes walking can look awkward depending on like what position people are in, but this here looks really nice, very atmospheric, lots of scale. And I was really happy with how this turned out. Really like how there's a bluish tone to the image, but the greens and yellows still come out in the shrubs. So very pleased with this one. That same day, you can still tell it's very foggy. This was still with the 23 looking over not a valley, but the landscape. It's a landscape image. And what I really love here is how the fog is helping me create the layers in the image. If you look really closely, you can really see how there's trees in the back, then another row of trees, then another row of trees, and then another row of trees hidden, but like below the hill that's closest to me. And then this first like tree that's more prominent in green. I really like the layers in this image. And I do like covering a bunch of like the foreground, the bottom half with just rocks, and then the top with just sky. So your eye is really drawn into the center of the image and into the layers. If you stare at it too long, a little mesmerizing. No, I don't know, but I'm very pleased with this image. And again, the color values are really nice here for a nice foggy day, but still some vibrance out of the colors that are there. Next, I was experimenting at home with my wife. There was like this really beautiful sun ray coming through the window. And so I was like, hey, can I take a photo of you? And she's like, sure. So here I am close up, really like trying to get as much exposure as I can of that sun coming over through. There is a little bit of chromatic aberration on her nose and her glasses, but it is what it is. And then I like the texture on her hair on the right side of the image. I just like how this is framed and very tight. It feels cinematic. It feels romantic but somber at the same time. I don't know. I really like it. The vibe is just cinematic. The colors are really nice to me. They're softer, more muted than I usually get. And I was going for something a little bit more nostalgia, memory feeling here. So with the colors, so very pleased with how this one turned out. Next, back at Arabia Mountain, and this day was like really cold, very icy. There's all these puddles there, and a lot of them had like a little sheet of ice on top. And this is one of the first images I took that day. And again, I shot a video that day, so you can check that out on my channel as well when it comes out. This has so much texture to it. The lighting coming from like the top right is really nice, how it's hitting the rocks. This is like 9 a.m., 10 a.m. in the morning. So still early-ish in terms of the winter period of the year. And I just really like how we have the bluish rocks and then the brownish puddle, like where it's melting, but this really solid part of ice here that's more white, blue, and it really sticks out. And everything is so punchy, so textured, and I don't know. To me, this is very appealing in that regard. And we're always looking to get like details, textures when we're taking this type of photography. So to me, that's a success. It doesn't necessarily have a proper subject or anything like that, but it doesn't need one. This image is just about what the place feels like. It feels a little bit more tangible when you put it like this, in my opinion. Still that same day, still Arabia Mountain. I guess that's a theme here. Whenever I go to multiple walks to Arabia Mountain in a month, I guess the monthly review always ends up having a lot of Arabia Mountain because I really love it. And I've been going often more recently. So I've been going more often recently is what I should have said there. Anyway, this is a nice landscape that shows the puddles, but also like a little bit of altitude play here, because right now I'm sort of 2 or 3 feet de-elevated from like where the puddle's standing water is. And that's how I'm able to get this almost flat look towards the puddle. And then obviously we have the trees and the landscape in the background, which add a little bit of nice texture and things like that. But the main focus here is how we can really see the scale of this big puddle. Like, it's a puddle. It almost looks like a lake on like a micro lake on something, if you think of it in a macro way. But obviously this is a puddle, but it almost feels like it's a much larger world here, like much larger landscape. But you can tell it's a little icy. It's reflecting the sun really nice, and overall, just there's still that texture there, but the plane of view of this puddle to me is very appealing. You get a lot of empty negative space when you're taking photos at Arabian Mountain. So that sky on the right side, like all the rocks and texture, but it really just accentuates this otherworldly, unique appeal to Arabian Mountain. Last Arabian Mountain picture for this video is this one, and very simple. Again, a lot of empty space. The sky is taking up most of the image, and it's not super vibrant. It's a really nice shade of blue, and that is the main appeal to me. This really surreal level of blue, and then the nice horizon line, and it feels very empty. Feels like there's something right over that hill. But before that, on the left hand side, I framed this one little tree, and I love framing one specific tree, one little tree, one simple thing, usually centered, but this time on the left. And I was like, wait a minute, this looks really nice. And splintered off little branches, good values on the greens there. And there's a green tint sort of to the rocks around it anyway. That's how it feels. And overall, just the color qualities and the lighting of this image turned out really, really nicely. So very pleased with this. Lastly, we're going to go to a film photo. I've been doing film photography for a little bit on a damaged camera, and like nothing turned out. So that was a big waste of money. Then I got a Nikon FM in great condition. And so this was from my first test roll that I did at the very end of January. And I really liked how the color came out on this image. The framing is really nice. It actually turned out as an image. It's also a big pro. And just the field of view of this red telephone box that's just in a random park here in the city. It's shot on Fuji 400, so like not like a top tier film stock, but it was a test roll just to make sure the camera actually worked and I didn't get robbed of my money. But no, everything went really well with the camera on this first run. Really a joy to use. So you'll definitely see some more videos of film photos, and also me talking about it and going on that journey as well as I'm learning and not transitioning from a digital photographer to a film photographer, but somebody transitioning to somebody who can do both. So that's going to do it for the January month in review. Really solid start to the year. I think going out all the way to Arabian Mountain is an hour away, going out to different parks, going out with different types of cameras, whether it's film or digital, different lenses. These are all things that I need to take from the month of January into the entire year of 2026, and stay focused on diversifying what I get, trying new things, and being very active as a photographer. So if you want to follow along that journey, make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you want to see my other months of review that are coming out, or just my growth as a photographer, also subscribe for that. I'm doing a lot more videos this year, staying consistent. I do photo analysis, I do photo vlogs, photo walks, all sorts of things, all photography related. So if you enjoy that, hopefully you'll stick around. I've been Tony King. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.